All right, you guys want to see something corny? What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your favorite mask collector's favorite mask collector, AJ Good, here at the House of Masks, where we unbox and review cool stuff almost every single day. And guess what? You're not gonna believe what I'm talking about in today's video. Now, for years and years, pretty much since the start of this channel, you guys have been asking me to cover Korn. So, lately I have been trying to figure out a way to tie Korn into the whole mask world thing, and I randomly stumbled across this listing on eBay, and this thing was so cheap that I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to do a video on it. So, let's go ahead and jump on into today's package. Today we are going to be covering none other than Lloyd himself from Lloyd's Lunchbox. And I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. AJ, who's Lloyd and what's a Lloyd's Lunchbox? And most importantly, what does that have to do with Korn? Well, to understand how this mask has anything to do with Korn, you have to understand who Lloyd is and where he came from. So, the character of Lloyd from Lloyd's Lunchbox originates with a couple of guys named Spike and Mike. Now, this guy debuted at Spike and Mike's Sick and Twisted Festival of Animation. And this was all the way back in 1997 over in San Diego, California. Now, this festival and the Spike and Mike's Sick and Twisted series, specifically Lloyd's Lunchbox, were way ahead of their time. Think Happy Tree Friends, or South Park, or just a wide variety of shows that have run on Adult Swim over the years. Now, in the Lloyd's Lunchbox series in particular, you have your main character, and your only character, Lloyd, who is constantly doing stupid things that only cause him harm. I mean, it's quite entertaining to watch him just repeatedly hurt himself over and over for no good reason. I feel like we all know someone like Lloyd in real life. So, you're probably still sitting there wondering, what does this have to do with Korn? Well, a little while later in the year 2000, Korn would actually use these episodes of Lloyd's Lunchbox in the background on their Sick and Twisted tour, which subsequently led to Lloyd being used in the Right Now music video a little later on in 2003, which got a lot of airplay over on MTV too. Now, because this was like ancient internet and it was nowhere near what it is today, most people would actually end up knowing Lloyd from Korn versus his actual birthplace at the Sick and Twisted Festival of Animation. So, there is a nice brief background on the character himself. Now, let's talk about the mask that I am holding. Now, as you can see, this thing looks pretty stupid, but that is kind of on purpose because the character of Lloyd was, after all, just a really crude animation. Think crude in a sense of like the first few seasons of South Park. These were just rough sketches that were barely being brought to life of this guy doing absolutely despicable things to himself, and it really worked for what it was. That style was just rad. I think all things from back in the day like that were pretty crude. Celebrity Deathmatch, I said South Park already. You just had to be there to understand it. So I'm sure that whoever made this mask was probably very thankful that this thing was originally done so crudely because it probably made making this mask super easy. Like a child could have done this sculpt, and I'm sure that a child might have done this sculpt because the only markings that I can find on this is a made in China stamp on the side there, and there's nothing else. Now, again, I only got this because it was so cheap, and I figured that this would be a no-brainer for a video because you guys are always asking me about Korn, and this really felt like a super informative video with a nice backstory that I wanted to cover, so I know that the mask is nothing special. It's a pretty goofy looking mask, very simple, some quick paint, you know, whatever, but I think that it's cool that this character has roots in so many things that I'm interested in, and obviously so many things that you guys are interested in, specifically Korn, and it was just cool that I was able to cover that. So I don't want to say that it's a fantastic mask. I do think that it's a good replica of the silly, crude thing from the 90s, and I think that it's cheap, and I thought that you guys should know about it. Now, since this came from eBay, I can't really give you a link because I got the mask that was in the listing, but I think if you go over onto eBay and you search something along the lines of like Spike and Mike Sick Twisted Doofus cosplay mask or something like that. It may come up. It looks like these were mass produced, so I have no doubt that after I bought mine, they threw some more up over there on eBay. This just seems like a no-brainer for anybody that is a fan of masks and a fan of the channel and a fan of Korn that wants to have some sort of Korn-related mask in their collection. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end this video the same way that I end all of the unboxings and reviews here on this channel, and that is with some nice up-close hero shots of this silly little mask. That way you guys can see all of the, I don't really want to say detail because it's not a super detailed piece, but you guys can see the mask up close and personal. Thank you guys very, very much for watching this video. I appreciate you and I hope that you have enjoyed it. And until next time, this has been AJ Good here at the House of Masks telling you to say no to drugs and alcohol and to being a Lloyd, and we'll see you guys in the next one.